we're going to talk about Prey. And so we all watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Something I noticed, look at her eyeball.
Yep.
3 little dots.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I didn't see that before. Overall, the public really likes this film.
Yeah.
They really do.
Overwhelmingly so.
As the Predator, franchise, I would say this is the better of the Predators.
This is probably.
I'm not super Predator heavy.
This is a decent Predator movie. Is it a decent movie? Debatable.
Wait, what is
it? Is
decent movie? Predator. Where does this sit? The first Predator. Okay.
The first Predator
first
is a solid movie, just in general. It's action, it's scares, it's effects, it's everything, right? And this is working off of us. This actually does a really good job of going back to form, where the other Predator movies get convoluted with all sorts of other stuff. This takes it back to a very simple idea.
Back to the basics.
Yeah, and it's linear and it's fun to watch.
Absolutely.
So
now, I'll say this. When I watched this, I love the filmmaking in this film.
yeah, oh yeah, I noticed that too.
It was
good filmmaking.
So
good visuals.
awesome. Like, there were scenes. So I brought this up because this was going to cue my thoughts. I don't know why there's a border there. So whenever they're doing a lot of torchlight, right? Especially in the night scenes, when it's perfect. The way they filmed it was so much better than most stuff I see. The way they do when you have light in the frame and when you have just moonlight nighttime, right? So there was a scene where the background is just dark. They actually filmed it at night. They have a torch there, and then they put the torch out. And now they're operating at moonlight. I think it's when they're hunting the lion, right?
Yeah.
The switch in the look of the setting completely changes, but it works so well because from one, it looks like a vast darkness with a light in the center. And then it switches to everything's illuminated by the moon, and I loved it. It was so beautiful. Cool. It was very thoughtful too.
Yeah.
The whole film was very thoughtful filming wise and stylistically.
They're a director of lighting. He's good.
They're I need to look it up on IMDb. Should I?
Yes.
Sure. For me, throughout this review, it's going to sound like I hate this movie. I don't hate the movie. I enjoyed the movie. And I disliked a lot about the movie.
Okay, so let's talk about what you liked about the movie.
Scroll up.
Let's talk about. So the director was Dan
Trachtenberg.
Mr. Trachtenberg. Let me go to the all cast and crew.
Well, there was if he said click here for production.
Well, all cast and crew right here. So I think what I'm looking for is the gaffer. Art direction, set design, music.
Well, that's probably what you need is
art department, sound department, special effects. What? Okay, Wyatt, while I'm looking through here, what did you like about the film?
So I really enjoyed the.
Wait, no, I just saw something. Go up. Oh, I saw lighting artist.
Oh, there it is. Down.
Lighting lead.
There's lighting lead, and then there's lighting artist under head of technology.
Yeah.
NPC.
Lighting
Where
lead.
are you seeing that?
Cliff.
Lighting artist is literally the last name you can see in frame.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So let's go to lighting lead. Clifford C. Moeller. Okay, so he did Godzilla, Monsters, Top Gun Maverick.
Very cool.
Clifford out here just rolling in the background, Mr. freaking Moeller.
Mr. Moeller.
So the things I liked were I really liked the way that the Predator tracks. It does all the proper Predator things. Love the weapons. A big part of watching Predator movies is usually they come in with different weapons and tactics. Very cool mask. He's got all the Predator accoutrement. He's got a very sick mask, probably the most unique mask of any movie. He's obviously a different species, so thinner more dreadlocks. Very cool. Not a fan of the predator new species thing.
Why?
Number one, he takes off his mask and he looks like a monster.
He looks similar to other predators.
They make it clear he's a different species, but his eyes look monstrous and animalistic. His mandibles look monstrous and animalistic because they needed monster. They wanted monster. When the first predator takes off his mask, his mandibles have function. They cover his mouth to keep his gums protected. When he roars, they don't like spread out like he's, some sort of, they open up, but they don't, they're not massive. And he's got intelligent eyes. Is a big thing for me. He's got intelligent eyes. He uses people's voices against them, and he speaks. Even if he's just parroting what Arnold says, he speaks. And he's scary because he is intelligent.
Okay, so...
And this one seems a little bit more animalistic, but like caveman with weapons.
Joshua, what did you like?
About the Predator itself?
About the film. What are your positives? I said mine. Mine is the filmmaking was wonderful. Visually, the way they used colors, the way they used a lack of colors. You know what I mean? I thought it was all wonderful. What did you like about the film?
I like that it was in a different timeline than like our normal Predator because it was in like Native American, and different setting than we normally see Predator. I mean, the first one, all it is Arnold Schwarzenegger basically, but he's like
you are downgrading what the first one is.
See, I didn't like the first one. I didn't care for it.
The first one's incredible.
I didn't care for it.
But I would agree I like the setting as well because it goes back to form. The first one's in a jungle, which is essentially an alien environment. And this one's in untamed American forest, which is cool as well.
Absolutely. What other... Go ahead.
The first Predator felt like an 80s film. Like you could tell it was made in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was the forest or the jungle. The jungle. That feels very 80s to me.
Were you okay with the mix of animation for Predator and practicals?
So I'm okay with the CGI for the Predator in this. In previous movies, the CGI for Predators have been bad. I'm okay with him being mostly CG in this.
There was actually a lot of
there was a lot of practicals, even though traditionally Predator movies, even more modern ones, have stuck with a practical aspect. With the CG, you can get it to do everything you want it to do.
The tree stuff works a lot better if it's done correctly.
Yeah.
Him just bouncing from trees.
Right. Yeah, he was, all of his weapons were sick. Yeah. He didn't have a plasma caster. He had a crossbow bolt thing.
Different time.
His combi stick was a club and a spear.
There was something I remember when we were watching it. You were like, "Why is it not his stuff shorting out with the water?" And you were questioning that.
So, in basically every movie, the issue there's issues with his technology.
Yeah,
he's not invincible.
Absolutely.
His plasma caster can be blown up. His mask can be ripped off, and his camouflage shorts out in water every time. And they're saying, well, this is 300 years ago, so the technology should be better. I think it should still short out in the water unless this is a different kind of technology.
But do you think it would have messed up the story at all? Based on because you also have to think about from the writing perspective, they think this is, they don't know what this is.
No, it wouldn't have. And she, in the water, it fights the bear. She sees it fight the bear, even though it's invisible. Very cool scene. I loved watching that. But his camouflage doesn't short out. But she sees it when he lifts the bear over his head. the water or the blood sprays down onto his face, you get a really, really cool image of the blood coating it and seeing that this thing is an alien.
Yeah.
So
I also like seeing how much it bled when it was fighting the bear. The bear was just ripping it.
this
You can see the
predator
blood.
gets hurt a lot.
A lot, and it has a
Gets
healing
hurt
scene.
a lot.
There was a healing scene.
Which I feel like has to be in every Predator movie. You have to have a scene because it shows that it's more than just an animal. It shows that it's a thinking creature,
See the predator over here on
a
the
sentient
side.
creature. But also in previous Predator movies, I don't think we've seen a Predator, a traditional one that can lift a bear above its head. So I have issues with that as well.
Wasn't he a little bigger than normal?
Yeah.
They made him a little larger.
It is. It's make it more monstrous for monster's sake, not because they don't tell us any background about this. They don't be like, oh, he is a different species in the movie. It's just directors behind the scenes saying that, and it's just,
In some ways, though, the fact that we don't have any established lore besides the films that are already out.
Now, I would be okay if they said, this is the predator. This is the Yautja species. This is how they look and how they always look.
What are you saying?
They're Yautja.
This is the Yautja.
They're
species.
Yautja. They're not just.
That is the most predator.
They're
of
not
predators.
just called. They're not just called predators. They have a alien species name.
Yeah.
If they say this is what they all look like, and this is what the ones we've seen in previous movies would look like in this version of the world, I'm cool with that. I like that more than them being like, he's from a different part of Yautja Prime.
Yeah, they didn't really explain it. What did they actually say? You watched some videos explaining that?
Yeah, they say he's from a different part of
a
Yautja
different
Prime.
part, okay,
Whereas it's like, well, humans on different part of Earth, we look kind of different, but our other ones of us, our mouths aren't like much more distended, and we're not that much different.
Some people's mouth are a bit more descended.
Yeah.
And we don't look as different as this one looks.
Well, maybe one had plastic surgery.
I guess
the alien version of plastic surgery. Maybe he's
so
got those.
We have other characters.
Alien butt lift.
So what did you think about the supporting characters?
He's my favorite.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Yeah, I wish he was the main character.
I don't know. I actually really liked her.
I
thought she held her own.
I thought she was so boring.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I would agree.
She is literally a Disney princess.
No, she's not.
I want to be a warrior. I have an animal companion.
Okay, we talked about this. This is the same problem. I understand. Yes, they fell into a trope. But that's in the writing. For her and how the actor portrayed her as a character.
The actor portrays
how she
her
held herself
fine,
on screen.
She doesn't learn anything.
Yeah, she does.
No, she doesn't.
The whole movie is her learning.
No, the point of the movie is I want to be a hunter. I am a good hunter. I think I can be the best hunter. She comes back. I'm the best hunter.
No, she comes back. She fails.
No.
She almost gets killed by the lion.
And she has to practice with the axe
She
throwing.
failed against
she had to
the
practice
predator
with
like 4 times before she got it.
The thought is I could be the best hunter, and then she becomes the best hunter.
But she had to practice at the night.
Yeah, no, they show her practicing, and that's a positive for her character that they don't show enough.
You're contradicting yourself.
No,
by
I'm
saying,
not.
Yes, she does practice.
Yes, she practices, and that's good. She's not just a character who can do everything
like She-Hulk
immediately, right? Like She-Hulk. It's like, oh, I'm just super good at this. She fails constantly, which is great and good, but she doesn't learn how to be a better character. She just, towards the end of the movie, she becomes like Neo from the Matrix and starts fighting incredibly well against the humans.
Well, she learns the secret
and then against the Predator.
The Matrix.
She just
okay.
all
I
of
will
a sudden,
say there's a bit of a skill jump.
Yeah,
there's a skill jump for sure, but that doesn't discount the fact that they fell into tropes. But they actually gave it a go, which is different than we've seen in most films recently. They actually made it. Like, there was intentional development through this.
Right.
And with losing her brother, losing her friend.
She's good at the medicine. She's good at tracking. If people listen to her ideas, they are good. she gets in a fight, and because I don't know, she gets captured by the dudes. It's okay for them to just die like the most violent and brutal death.
The Frenchmen?
The Frenchmen are a different issue.
Yeah.
That's.
Are you talking about the other
native guys? Yeah. The French.
That was pretty rough.
The Frenchmen are pretty traditional, like
French.
Yeah, French. They're the French.
The we.
Am I okay with making all the white people just dirty, grubby, disgusting, annoying?
They're French.
Terrible.
Screw them.
It's okay because they're French.
They're French.
They're French, and I'm okay with
Screw
that.
the French.
I mean that's
including Timothy
This
Chalamet.
is from the perspective
Also
of
Jewish.
the Native American.
I'm just saying, there's boring modern politics in it that we've seen a million times before.
But it wasn't rubbed in our faces.
Okay.
No, it was. They followed a traditional storyline that we have seen since the freaking 70s.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's not a new one, and it's also not that modern politics.
I think this was coming from their perspective, so
If it
it's
was
going
modern
to look like
politics,
that.
if it was
regardless if it is or not.
I would have liked her to experience a little bit of like legitimate fear when she's fighting the predator in the end.
In the end,
Yeah. Like,
well, she showed legitimate fear for like four times.
I would have liked for her to be on the back foot at times in that last fight.
I think she should be on the front foot.
It seems like she's just on the front foot the entire time, fighting this massive, raging, future technology
He didn't have his
master
mask.
hunter.
He didn't have his mask.
No mask.
Master hunter, right? But they did a good job of making the movie fun and interesting.
What are you
Yes.
gonna rate this movie? 1 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I'm gonna give it a 7 because honestly, I had a good time watching it.
It was
All
a
right?
fun time, but I'm not a
And
Predator
it
fan.
didn't. It felt like more of the same, and
Not
just
as much.
based on what's come out this year, it felt like a little bit
More enjoyable.
more enjoyable. Yes.
Yeah.
It felt fun. It felt thrilling. The politics that were in it, it didn't feel like it was crammed down my
It was
throat.
not overwhelming.
It
I will
wasn't
say that.
overwhelming with the political ideas.
Also, okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7.
I give it a 6.
I have to give it a 6 because of all the things I said and the little things. Nobody shoots a bow like this unless you're the Na'vi. Who shoots a bow like this? No, the Native American shot like this.
That was a problem that Wyatt pointed out to me before I even saw the film. He's like, there's a serious issue in this film, and it's the way they shoot bows.
Ah, that annoyed me.
Yeah, if you're on Pandora and you got them really long blue hands,
Yeah.
then maybe you do it this way for some reason. Maybe you have
Right.
an extra joint in your
Also,
elbow.
pulling a bow back this far doesn't kill anything. And they did that
yeah,
multiple times.
They did.
And then also the...
That's a fully pulled bow, though, right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The arrow's all the way to the end.
Yeah.
hand.
And then also her magic
Small arrow.
tomahawk with the rope.
Ding, ding.
Her magic
Boomerang one.
her magic boomerang
It
tomahawk
obviously
rope
wasn't.
thing.
It obviously wasn't realistic, but they at least had an explanation.
Yeah.
They're like, she practices for an undisclosed amount of time
Several days at least, yeah.
to master this whip back catch.
just
thing,
abandons her tribe for days on end.
I'm gonna practice with this new weapon.
Yeah.
All right. So 6, and 7.
Yeah, I give it a 6.
Absolutely.
It was at least
I'll go 5.5.
it was at least decent to watch.
You're dropping it.
5.5.
All right.